Dear second secondary students, it's my pleasure to welcome you all to a new lesson of English which is entitled The News. New vocabulary. Number 1, witness. It's a noun. It means a person who sees an event like a crime or an accident. يعني شاهد. For example, the police asked the witness who saw the crime. Number 2, stick out. It's a verb. It means to go out of a place. For example, the girl was sticking out her hands of the window. Number 3, escape. It's a verb. It means to break free from a place. يعني يهرب. For example, the thief tried to escape from the police. Number 4, stuck. It's an adjective. It means to be fixed in a special position and can't change it. For example, the elevator was stuck, so I used the stairs. Number 5, coastal village. It's a noun. It means a village which is built on the coast. For example, Alex is a coastal village. Listen to this text and answer the questions. Now we have the pre-listening questions. Let's read it before listening. Number 1, what happened earlier in the evening? Number 2, why did neighbors call the police? Number 3, what was Layla's problem? Now let's listen to this text. It's a man who is talking about an accident that he saw near his house. The man, 2 workers had a lucky escape last night after a storm hit the small coastal village of a large in Scotland. Heavy rain started at 5 p.m. and by 6 p.m. strong winds had blown a lot of water onto the footpath on the seafront. Witnesses say that the workers were halfway along the path when a huge wave knocked them over. Police believe that the workers were 2 local women, but no names have been given, and the women had returned safe and well to their families. Police were called to a house in Abidjan yesterday to help a teenager stuck in a bathroom window. Neighbors saw the legs and feet of 13-year-old Layla Tahir sticking out of the window and thought it was a thief. When the police managed to free the teenager, they discovered that Layla lived at the house but had forgotten her keys. She said the only window open was the bathroom one, but it was a bit small. Now, can you answer these questions after listening? If you can't answer these questions, try to pause the video and listen again to answer the questions. And now we can see the text itself and try to answer the questions. Man, 2 workers had a lucky escape last night after a storm hit the small coastal village of Largs in Scotland. Heavy rain started at 5 p.m. and by 6 p.m. strong winds had blown a lot of water onto the footpath on the seafront. Witnesses say that the workers were halfway along the path when a huge wave knocked them over. The police believe that the workers were 2 local women, but no names have been given, and the women had returned safe and well to their families. The police were called to a house in Abid yesterday to help a teenager stuck in a bathroom window. Neighbors saw the legs and feet of 13 years old of Layla Tahir sticking out of the window and thought it was a thief. When the police managed to free the teenager, they discovered that Layla lived in the house but had forgotten her keys. She said, The only window open was the bathroom, but it was a bit small. Now let's answer the questions. Number 1. What happened earlier in the evening? 2 walkers had a lucky escape last night after a storm hit the small coastal village of Largs in Scotland. Number 2. Why did neighbors call the police? The answer: because neighbors saw the legs and feet of 13 years old Layla Taher sticking out of the window and thought it was a thief. Number 3. What was Layla's problem? Her problem was that she lived in this house, but she had forgotten her keys. She said that the only window open was the bathroom one, but it was a bit small. Now let's talk about the difference between past simple tense and past perfect tense. Number 1, the active form in past simple tense. For example, I ate fish yesterday. It's active form. We have subject and verb and object. In the past perfect tense, we have subject plus had plus past participle plus object. For example, I had done. We have had plus verb, past participle. The shopping before I went home. Now, number 2, the passive form of past simple tense. It consists of object plus was or were plus past participle. For example, the fish was eaten by me. In the passive form, we start with the object, the fish, and then we have was and past participle. This is the passive form in the past simple tense. Look at the past perfect tense. The passive form consists of object plus had plus been plus past participle. For example, the shopping had been done by me before I went home. We start with the object, then had, then been, and the past participle. Now answer these questions using the correct form of verbs, past simple or past perfect. Number 1, the plastic sculpture of a whale's tail which created 20 years earlier by a local artist, erected by the local council at the end of an overground railway line. Create, it will be had been created in the passive form. Erect, it will be had been erected in the passive form. Number 2, for unknown reasons, the train couldn't stop at the final station on its route, and it crashed through the safety barriers. Here we are going to use the past simple. It will be crashed. Number 3, luckily the train empty just moments before, so the only person on board was the train driver. The answer will be had been emptied. Number 4, as he got off the train uninjured, he said he was glad that nobody hurt and was very grateful to the artist who created the tail. The first verb, get off, it will be got off because we have the key word as. After as, we put the verb in the past simple tense. Nobody had been hurt. It will be in the passive form of past perfect. Created, it will be had created in the past perfect form. Now we have come to the end of this lesson. Thank you and see you later in the next lesson.